Hey guys, here we are with another match with Mono Black Pauper Dredge Devotion something. We are actually recording this on a different day after MTGO decided that it would crack the shits and totally not function for me for a while. So yeah, hopefully I'm still in the swing of things, and we would like to play first as always. His hand seems fine. It's not amazing, but got some card draw, got some removal, got some creatures. Sorry, we won't be mulliganing. Apologies for the many different types of basic land, by the way. I haven't made a concerted effort to get enough basics to play a Pauper Dredge deck with the same type. I know. I'm one of those guys on Magic Online who can possibly beat you using some ugly ass basics. Alright, looks like we're playing against the Tron deck. So the Tron deck in this format is very similar to the one in Modern. It uses a bunch of chromatic stars and chromatic spheres to cycle through its deck, get Tron up, and then kill you with the common Eldrazi Ulamog's Crusher, which is 8 for an 8/8 that has to attack every turn and has Annihilator too. Um, it's an interesting match actually. I believe that a lot of them are starting to kill people with various fireballs and also Fangorn Marauder from Scars of Mirrodin block. I think it's from Mirrodin Besieged, which is 6 for a 5/5, and every time you have an artifact go to the graveyard, you gain 5 life. And with this cycle, that's obviously quite a lot of life. 5/5 is quite big in this format as well. So yeah, we have things like this. They cycle through their deck with Seagate Oracle and Muldrifter, two of the most common pieces of this deck. And yeah, it's got a bunch of everything. It's got a bit of card advantage. It's got a bit of action otherwise, and it's quite strong. I've struggled to beat it in the past, normally long matches. So we're going to try and keep our play pretty fast here to offset that. At the moment, this is still a 6 cost creature, um, so I guess we'll just drop 2 copies of Tortured Existence. Seagate Oracle is not worth using Obligate on. You really need to use this on one of the bombs. Removal is quite good, and you do need to use it sparingly in these matches. I'm wondering how much having Marsh Mist Titan will affect these matches. Here's Muldrifter. Of course, he's got Tron up at this point. There's not a lot you can do about that, so. Um, there's not a whole lot of reason not to pre-combat this Fume Spitter. I may have done the maths wrong. No, we can still cast this for 4, so if he trades with the Stinkweed Imp. And get that for 3. I'd really like the Stinkweed Imp to die, actually. Make sure we draw a creature every turn. We can draw a bunch of 4/5s, we can draw a bunch of Grey Merchants. This is one of those matches that you frequently win with large Grey Merchant activations. Our opponent obviously on a ton of mana, so here's the Ulamog's Crusher. More land. Thank you, deck. Thank you. I'm liking having this clock that it wasn't previously available to us. We're playing lands here because there's absolutely no downside to doing it, and it might be necessary to pay for an Annihilator trigger at some point. So, but yeah, this 4/5 is pretty cool. In here, you often find that they're able to chump you out for a while anyway, but having a real clock on the table is good. Hmm. I think we just keep this fume spit around for now. We just have to assume that we're going to draw some action. Free chump blocker for him. Flame Flash. Yes. Every time. That was a terrible play from him. So what do we have access to now? We have a Grey Merchant, which I believe we'll be getting. A bunch of Stinkweed Imps in there. So yeah, he done fucked up um, on this one. Good old drain for 8 or something. I think it was 8. Yep. I'm actually going to kill this plant. Doesn't change our Grey Merchant clock. Makes him chump block. Probably could have played that swamp there, but there's really no reason to, given that we know we're going to be drawing a Stinkweed Imp next turn, because it's just much better than the top card of our deck. Yeah. Fangren Marauder. This is the card I was talking about earlier. Can gain a hell of a lot of life here. Yeah, this expedition map. This is a common. Come on, guys. Um, it's worth 5 life, so he's gone back up to 10. And his Muldrift did a refill. So he's not actually dead this turn. Had we not sacked the Fume Spitter, he would be. If we hit a Grey Merchant off the Stinkweed Imp Dredge, but I'm not sure if that was a wrong play or not. I think putting him dead to having nothing is a little bit better. You've got to make people have it at some point, so there's another Grey Merchant, so we're getting pretty close to him being dead. Um, our other option, of course, is to not take the Grey Merchant here and take something with like a Chittering Rats, which has two of the two black mana symbols in its cost. But I honestly feel that he's going to be able to either have action in his hand or he's going to have some artifacts that he can stack. So he's on a virtually higher life total in this anyway. Um, so yeah, I think we'll just try and hit all our Grey Merchants. That's going to be my tactic. Meanwhile, our life total is fairly safe, so there's always that. We'll hopefully hit a carry-on feeder soon. If we, oh no, we already do have a carry-on feeder. So if we fail to hit a Great Merchant, we can actually go get the carry-on feeder in order to start looping the ones that we already have. Carrion feeder can obviously become quite large in this match. Yeah. So here's Seagate Oracle. Hopefully he's just not really hitting anything as far as bombs are concerned, but you never know. This deck really wants to do this either way, so It's quite possible that he's got a handful of gas and he's just cycling through to find a crusher because it ends the game faster. Or another Marauder, yep. So every time an artifact goes to the bin, he's gaining 10 life. So this is 10 life. Ooh. Such a swingy effect. This card was ridiculous in draft, if anyone remembers. And another one, and he can sack this too, so he's on 21. So, you can see that I'm doing something really powerful here, but what he's doing is getting really out of hand, so he's actually even threw more cards than me and I've been dredging 5 a turn. Is he going to attack? Just for the flyers. Makes sense, probably could play from him. Alright, let's get this graveyard back out. Okay, so we haven't hit another Grey Merchant, and the only other card that would have me thinking about what we would get is if we hit another Marshmist Titan. Um, but we are in a position where we can start cycling Grey Merchants um, through using Carrion Feeder. So I guess that's what we'll do. Deep Analysis. Sweet card. Nice to see it getting played. I'm not a fan of Muldrifter in this format. I think it's why was this ever printed at common? Come on, guys. Only in that it's not particularly fun. So I like seeing out Oracle. It's got a lot of flavor to it and stuff like that, and that's one of the things that really sells me in this format is if a card has a lot of flavor or not. Power level is sort of irrelevant because things are ridiculous. Either way you cut it. So yeah, anything which is like this, where it's just like obviously a very basic, boring pushed card that happens to be of a power level like this, it just seems a little ridiculous. Um, but I don't. It's a fairly silly complaint, really. But I don't know. Flavor makes a big difference to me in this format because it's not played at ultra competitive levels. Um, Worth noting that I feel like we're going to lose this game. He has a win condition somewhere in his deck, which will not really care what life total I'm on, which will be, one of the massive burn spells, and he's got incredibly high amount of mana and the ability to smash in for 6 a turn in the air without ever committing anything else. Honestly, he can throw in his whole team to get a whole bunch of damage very soon. Um, so I feel like this is not a winning proposition. We basically need to hit a couple Grey Merchants into each other and for him to blank out. So we still play the game, but and a big reason for that is that his clock does matter. Like he does struggle to win in 3 games within a 25-minute limit because this is a Magic Online format, and playing that way is not only sensible, it's part of the game that you're playing. Okay, so I have. Oh, interestingly enough, all 3 Overlords are in my bin, so I can't ever count on drawing any of those anymore. I can draw another Marshmist Titan, but I do think it's better just to put a Grey Merchant in there and drain him again. Draining for 10 at a time at the moment. I imagine that he'll just sack an artifact somewhere during this turn. He's got an expedition map on board, so he's basically on 21 anyway. It's very interesting to see how this deck functions. It can so reliably draw its entire deck over the course of a game without dying. That it's, I mean, that's the entire archetype, right? Like that's all it does. Um, you can see is yeah, I'm drawing 5 cards a turn effectively, or at least drawing 5 cards from my library a turn, and he's well ahead of that. So but decks like this, if it takes him 10 minutes to win a match, it's really important that you make him do it. We're already 8 minutes in game one, and I think he's been in a position where he has won for quite a while, but he has to actually do it, and it's my job to force him into it. This is a match that gets a lot better post board, as far as I'm concerned. Well, this is going to die here, so we'll just let it. It's fine. Sack out a whole board to make it survive that, but it's not worth it. Odds are, with 26 cards left in the library, that another mill for 5 will probably hit us another Grey Merchant anyway. Um, and I would definitely assume that we'd hit one within 2. So we'll Dredge Stinkweed Imp. If we don't hit a Grey Merchant, we'll probably just play a Marshmist Titan. And yeah, Firebolts to the face. This is a sweet card in my opinion. I quite like it. Okay, we hit another Marsh Mist, but we missed on Grey Merchant. So the old one cost 4/5. This hand would have beaten every other deck in the fight, I'm pretty sure. I feel like Affinity could possibly get under it, but the single Obliette would really, well, quite often we need that match, and then having this ending going sort of beats everything else. But this deck does go over the top of you, even with all your pieces. I don't know why I'm not F6 during his turn, but we can just, watch him manage a bunch of triggers. And sorry about this, guys. If it's a little bit boring, feel free to fast forward through. I can almost guarantee that we've lost this, so it's yeah. If it feels like a waste of time to you, it probably is. You won't see any more cards from this deck except maybe a large fireball effect. You might have another Ormox Crusher. Knowing it's 75 is, fairly reliable. But yeah, it looks like he's just going to burn us to the face a few times more and then attack with everything. We should get him there. If he's attacking with everything, he's definitely done the maths. So we take 8 from the flyers, so we're just not going to block. And let's go to sideboard. So here, we want cards, and we want removal. Victim of Night, Doomblade, and Duress. Duress is surprisingly good here. Things we don't care about. 1/3s for 2. Pretty bad. Fume Spit is pretty bad. Carrion Feeder is in some ways necessary to keep playing. Turing Rights can be okay. Tortured Existence is quite good. Still 5 cards over, so we'll need to make some choices as to what we drop here. Windows has detected that your computer's performance is slow. It's not very nice. Alright. Um, what cards can we afford to drop? We can probably afford to take out one Tortured Existence, a couple of Carrion Feeder, and take out 2 Chittering Rats. We're obviously moving more into the control role here. I would like to play first. This hand is not bad. You're sort of looking for long game hands here anyway, so the lack of two drop, 1 drop, whatever, isn't such an issue. You're looking for hands that will develop rather than hands that are already good. Excellent draw. This card is so sweet. See if he's got a natural turn 3 Tron or not. He does not. 3 colorless mana. Um, Read the bones. Put 1 on bottom. This second one's also interesting. So we need that eventually, but we don't actually need it now. Um, we'd rather have a Duress or a Karen Feeder, which is what we choose. So, um, hmm. Duress gets a card here, but it's less mana efficient with the Marsh Mist Titan, which will cost 4 next turn if we cast Carrion Feeder. Um, yeah, I'm going to put some more power on the board. Unfortunately, we can't F6 with the Carrion Feeder on the board if he happens to want to kill our Chittering Rats or similar. So he's got it all. Opts to play Remote Isle instead. Um, Obviously nothing he can do a 5, but I'm expecting Ulmog's Crusher next turn. Or a Marauder. Either way, the plan is to Obliate next turn. So I'm happy to play this Baron more tapped. Play this Marsh Mist Titan past turn, and then Oubliette plus Duress next turn. And that way there's going to be a little bit more pressure on the board than there otherwise would be. And then we're starting to get into Grey Merchant territory. So this game could end quickly if everything goes according to plan, but I'm not sure when that ever happens. So here's a Mulgrifter. Okay. So it's looking like he hasn't drawn his bombs yet, and he will be going in and searching for them. So depending on we draw, this may actually be a turn in which we just attack with Marsh Mist and then try and Grey Merchant twice. How many do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4. The issue being, so we could obviate this, duress him, and then try and kill him with a Grey Merchant next turn, but that only really works if he doesn't have Fanged Marauder, which we don't know. I think duressing him is better than Grey Merchanting him. Okay, so either line wins us the game. with attack with Marsh Mist first, or play Grey Merchant and then, or Oblate, sorry. Either way wins this game if he doesn't have Fangren Marauder. If he does have Fangren Marauder, I'd rather continue to have this in my hand. So the line which plays around that seems the best to me. Yeah, Grey Merchant for 6. He has it, but that's fine. We have a large board presence, and once we remove it, we'll have a lot of pressure still. So the good thing for us is that he'll want to draw a bunch of cards this turn and cycle all his artifacts, so this duress will get better as well. More of a silver lining than pure upside, of course, but he just wants to 5-bolt this. Okay, well, this current feeder will eat it then. Okay, so what are you on? 10? Let's start off by duressing. Okay, we'll take this Ancient Stirrings very happily. This is probably represents 5 more life here. Once he can untap his Shimmering Grotto, so he's on stone nothing, basically. We just have to hope he doesn't draw anything that gives him access to a lot more cards than he has right now. So Muldrifter, he's currently got 3 unknowns in hand and 3 land. Access to 6, 7, 8, 9, or 1 less than that if he's filtering, which he is. Muldrifters won't save you now, boy. So it looks like we win this. He has to hope that we don't have the Grey Merchant, but we do, so. That's fine. Okay, so we're down to about 12 minutes each on the clock, and I can win games quickly, and he can't. Um, so we're just going to submit again. But you can see how allowing him to play this match out has left us with an advantage because we win games quickly and he doesn't. Um, of course, both decks are quite strong. His deck is very good, and he's playing it quite quickly, actually. It just does take that long to mechanically do all these things, and I mean, it's no better in real life as opposed to Magic Online here. So we're not going to mulligan. The difference is mainly in that you can't draw on Magic Online, which is good because it's not. We've been playing quite slowly and we're at a similar time limit, but should we want to turn it on? And obviously, I do play a bit slower when I'm commentating things. So, I'll normally find that I'm still at like 18, 20 minutes here. Ancient Stirrings, unsurprisingly. Looking for another piece, which he finds. Who knows if he already had it or not, though. Alright, does he just shock us? No, Ancient Stirrings. So he doesn't have the third piece yet, but look at that. Alright, let's play Chittering Rats. one of the matchups that Cheering Rats is worst in is this one. Although you do find occasions when they're actually on stone blanks and you can um, duress them and see that they've actually got a bunch of lands in hand and then lock them out with it. It comes up very rarely though. So he's got power plant, which means he's got it all. So I imagine he'll cast his second prophetic prism here, and yep. Okay, that was a good draw. We could read the bones here, but I think it's just a little bit better for us to put more mana symbols into play and slightly more power by doing this. It means some of our draws get a lot better. Also means that we've got currently 4 devotion for Marsh Mist Titan, so we only need 3 mana to cast it. Although that's going to make a difference. Unless he has stone nothing, of course. I mean, there is always that. Of course, putting a guy in the bin allows us to start doing this as well. And if he is on nothing, this is a dangerous proposition for him if we continue to draw cards and he doesn't. What did we hit? Nothing. Nothing at all. Okay, we can't recast Cheering Rats this turn, unfortunately, but we can read the bones, so let's see what we do with that. I like both those cards, so I'm going to put them both on top. Marsh Mist is currently cost 1, 2, 3, 4, so 3 mana. We can't cast it quite yet, but we can Sign in Blood. We want him to not draw any action for a turn, and then we can start locking him out. It's possible he has his Big Burn spell in hand, but we don't know either way, so it'd be pure conjecture. But no, Muldrifter there is really bad for us. He obviously didn't have that last turn, otherwise he would have cast it. So that turn we missed with the Chittering Rats loop. Yeah. Let him back in the game. Ray of Revelation. Okay, you got it. I would assume he sided these in. If he wants to spend his cards like that, I'm not, going to complain too much. I think without a Tortured Existence on the board, I'm fairly happy to trade off this Carrion Feeder. Although, I think I'm much more happy to have a Stinkweed Imp that can be sacrificed to it. What we really want to see here is a Ulamog's Crusher. It'll take him his whole turn, it'll tap him out, and then we just get to kill it. So, yeah. Frango Marauder is a lot worse for us. Sweet card. He currently has no creatures he can get back though. It's almost worth playing around this by exiling this to the Muldrifter to obligate instead of allowing him a chump block and then uh, getting it back to draw another 2 cards. Looks like we're getting hit by a big burn spell here. See if my whole team dies or not. He does have enough mana in that to kill it all, so. Yeah, so X equals 14, so there's 5 on the Carrion Feeder, which is enough to kill it, and then there's appropriate amount on everything, which he barely has, but he's got it. So, yeah, let's just press OK. Swings for 2. We'll just be, I think, drawing off the top at this point. I don't think that Stinkweed Imp is as good as the possibility of drawing a Tortured Existence, even though there are only 2 left in the deck. We can hardcast Marshmallow's Titan at this point, so it's fine. Obliate. Okay. Well, I will cast this because we have no mana symbols on the board at the moment. Takes his clock out of contention, small as it may be. I did miss that actually. I'm not good at this game sometimes. That was pretty bad. Of course, you can't use that extra half on a Tortured Existence should I draw one. But that was still playing badly, so. That Rolling Thunder may have blown us out of this game, which is a little disappointing. You should always cast your artifacts first, buddy. Instant speed removal is a thing. I wonder what he's paying life for. Deep analysis, probably. Seems like he has no artifacts. I may have been taking the wrong line here by not dredging the Stinkweed Imp so we have a clock. I think at some point, the ability to draw into a Read the Bones, a Sign in Blood, a Tortured Existence, Grey Merchant, or a Marsh Mist Titan does outweigh having, you know, your power go 1 greater every turn by drawing dredges. There are some decks where you just need to draw anything every turn and you win, like the mono blue deck. If you can just draw a Stinkweed Imp every turn, they just can't beat it because they're going to hit blanks at some point, and that's it. Dear God. Must you have it all, buddy? Must you have it all? Of course, you can get it back with Haunted Fengraf. I feel like we're losing this. To him playing badly mostly, I feel like bringing Revelation in here. I don't know, maybe it is good. It's definitely been good in this game, but for example, last game it would have been awful. It just depends what part of my deck I see. But yeah, it was the Rolling Thunder that gave us the huge blowouts, and he got there by drawing Tron naturally and drawing in a lot of extra Urza's Towers. So it's not a lot we can do about that. Sometimes, you know, the Tron deck will draw the Tron pieces. That's why those cards are in the deck. I feel like that this match would normally go towards us, though. And hey, we are going to try and wiggle our way into winning this. I'm actually going to start drawing Stinkweed Imps. Of course, on the on the turn that we would have drawn a Baron War into a Tortured Existence. So, go me for sticking with the game plan. Oh, hardcast one. Greedy bugger. I think it would almost always be better to trade your Haunted Fangraph in here to get the only one which is in your bin when you're sure you're going to get it. But, you know, barely relevant at this point. Yeah, sorry that I haven't really been speaking, but it's just, this is fairly just ridiculously cycling through his stack. He's got 17 cards in his library at this point. On turn, what turn are we on here? I don't know, he's on Storm 5 at least, but, yeah. 7, Storm 7, Grape shot me out. No. So this is turn 10 or something, which is actually fairly early on in some of these Pauper matches. So he just kills me this turn. Alright, well, that was not the funnest way to end it, but I think we showcased the power of the deck quite a bit. There are a few card changes that I might want to make, but yeah, I think mainly I needed to get a little bit luckier. This was he pulled out like a motherfucker here. I'm a little disappointed I didn't get to lock him out with Chittering Rats, which would have won us the game. That he had that perfect amount of action and then drew perfectly out as soon as he could. The Ray of Revelations is something I may consider playing around in the future, and was fairly influential in this game, despite the fact that I feel the card's quite bad. But you know what? They did well, so who knows? Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.